Hey, Shalom Aleichem, it's Meorah, and I'm back. It's been like a month, if not longer, since I last uploaded, so thank you guys for joining me again. As you can see from my background, I'm in a totally different setting. I am still in Israel, Baruch Hashem, and I'm now actually in Tel Aviv. So I just got here yesterday, and basically, long story short, I couldn't find a great apartment situation in Jerusalem, which is where I was for the first 3 months of me making Aliyah. So I kind of looked around, looked at different apartments, and it was just kind of slim pickings, and I was just honestly a little too nervous to put down a whole year's lease, just because I still don't really know all the different areas and just wasn't totally confident about where I wanted to live specifically in Jerusalem. That is eventually where I'd like to settle down and nestle, more permanently, but I'm just kind of still exploring. It's still all very brand new, so I figured I would have a little stint in Tel Aviv, which is where I am. So I found a really great Airbnb, which even finding Airbnbs, it is a little bit like slim pickings, and they are very expensive. If you guys don't know, Tel Aviv was recently voted like the world's most expensive city to live in, which is crazy. And I don't know how they calculate these things. I didn't really look too much into it, but I figured that's accounting for definitely the cost of food. That's been kind of a shock. Food is definitely way more expensive in Israel. Just for context, if you got a large pizza or something with a bunch of toppings, you could easily spend $30+ on a pizza. Or I've gone to kosher McDonald's several times, but when you go there, you're definitely dropping $15 to $20 or so just on a meals at McDonald's. So just for context, yeah, food can be very expensive here. But on top of that, rent is relatively expensive, but I mean, I'm coming from Boston, so I've definitely paid a hefty amount of money on rent back in Boston. So I don't feel like that's the huge hit, but I think it's just everything put together, and the taxes. The taxes are extremely high in Israel. They're 30+% of personal income tax. So that all adds up, and on top of it, Israeli incomes are not as high as the United States. So all that together, I can definitely see why Tel Aviv specifically is a particularly expensive city to live in, and I'm kind of feeling it a little bit just being in this Airbnb and just cost of food and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I guess I'm just kind of diving into it. I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update about what I've been up to in the last month or so and how I'm kind of adjusting, continuing here. I have to say I'm very glad that I had that initial time in Jerusalem, but to be totally honest, I'm really excited to be here in Tel Aviv, especially because of the beaches and just having a little bit more of a metropolitan, city, modern vibe. I think I've been kind of missing some of those comforts coming from the States to here. So Jerusalem was really cool, and I really loved the energy and some of the cultural, aspects of being there, but I'm just excited to be back in a big city. So I just got here yesterday and I'm getting settled in, but I guess the bigger update that I'm going to share with you guys is that I got a job. And the interesting thing about that is that I literally have not worked for 2.5 years, and that has been very intentional. I've been kind of just taking some time to really recover from my last career, which was just so exhausting and really draining, and just really thinking more mindfully about what I wanted to do moving forward. So I've actually only applied to 2 jobs in the last 2.5 years, and the one I got was one of them, of course. The other job I'm really glad I didn't end up getting. It was for I think it was VP of engagement, or I think it was VP of engagement for a Jewish Federation, which ultimately I'm glad for a few different reasons I didn't get. The most important of which would be that I would have stayed in the States longer and not ended up making Aliyah. So that obviously worked out very well. But after that, I waited a couple years and then finally applied to this job because it really just called to me, and I really, really believe in the mission and what it does. So I'm not gonna tell you guys specifically what the job is yet, because I almost feel it's kind of when you have when you're pregnant, you're having a baby, and you don't want to tell people yet. It still feels really early, so I'm not going to share exactly what it is, but I will say that it is in the domain of fighting anti-Semitism. So it's a nonprofit, very mission-oriented space where I just completely, like I said, believe in the mission, and I'm so excited because it's a job where I can take all of my skills from my past career and now apply them in a Jewish setting. So that was really ultimately what I was looking for, and like what I really want to do with my life. So I'm psyched about that. Today was literally my first day of work and I had such a great day. Just couldn't have been any better really. And another bonus part about this job is that it's pretty much all remote, which gives me a whole lot of flexibility in terms of not just work hours and lifestyle and things like that, which was a big factor of me liking this position, but also being able to move around, which is really exciting for me. So I really would love to just kind of like bounce around to different areas in Israel, but also being able to travel and go visit back home for a few months if I feel like it, or even going to see my parents in Korea. So I love that I can just kind of like hop around different places. To me, like that's just the ultimate living the dream sort of thing. So I'm really excited, and I will definitely be talking about my job when I feel, a little more like settled in, I guess. But anyway, I'm having a really great first day, and also this is basically, so it's like my second day here in this Airbnb, and I will give you guys like a bit of an apartment tour. I mentioned at one point that I was going to do that for my last apartment, but honestly, if you saw my last vlog, that was like, it was a one-room studio, so you guys pretty much saw the whole thing minus the balcony, but it was a very tiny space. It was a great like first place for me to be in Israel. Like it was kind of renovated, so like it had a more modern looking bathroom and kitchen, but it was really tiny. But I did like it because it was also right in the center in Nachlaot, so it was like really within walking distance to all the action. But anyway, I found this Airbnb, and the best thing ever that happened was that I rented a particular unit, and I got a message from the Airbnb host saying there was something wrong with the unit and that I wouldn't be able to move it on time. And then later on they said, oh, never mind, disregard that message. So I was like, all right. So I come into this Airbnb and I find that they actually ended up putting me in a different unit that looks kind of similar, but it's way bigger and actually way, way nicer. So I got a very great unit. And I'm just so psyched to be here. I love this setting, and I can't wait to show you guys. But I'm gonna do that in a separate video, and I'm going to do that when it's actually light out so you can kind of see it in all its glory. Now, one particular drawback, however, that I need to kind of figure out, work through, is that this building has not one, not two, but 3 different electronic keypad, like door code kind of thing. So I have 3 digital locks, which means I am for sure like trapped in here for Shabbos, which I didn't anticipate at all. I thought I would just have like a manual key or something, so that's kind of a bummer. I mean, when I came here, I was really excited to check out different shuls in Tel Aviv and stuff, so I not like psyched about the fact that I'm like trapped in here and I can't leave my apartment during Shabbos. But on top of that, we also have Pesach coming up. So what I think I'm gonna have to do is actually rent another Airbnb and making sure that it has like just like a manual regular key, and kind of migrating there just for the weekend. And I think that Pesach is on it's on Shabbat this year. So anyway, I'm gonna have to work all that out, which is kind of a pain, but honestly, I think it's a good trade-off because I just love this apartment. I love this unit, and especially since I'm generally working from home with this new job, just having a really awesome environment was so important to me at this point, especially after living like super modestly for the first 3 months in Yerushalayim. So I'm like almost, I've lost count of the days, but I'm almost at 100 days since I made Aliyah, and I'm going to do sort of a separate update on that and just kind of like my overall thoughts since making Aliyah, and just kind of, yeah, all my reactions to how life has been here. But in a nutshell, I'm still loving it. I'm still so in awe and so like grateful, and still having like so many just tearful, joyous, emotional moments when I'm just like, I can't believe I live here. So I really genuinely hope that never wears off, and I kind of feel like it won't, because it's just such a special thing to live in Eretz Yisrael. You can't compare it, and this is just completely unlike moving to a new country, and people go through that, but it's been so much more than that for me. So I've been just continually in awe of just being here and feeling so aligned. Like I've said before, it's all about like spiritual alignment and just feeling like this is where I belong and this is where my life is now moving forward. So I felt really great about that, and now that I'm working and found like my dream job, that just everything's just kind of meshing well here. So that's really exciting for me, because for the first 3 months and stuff, I was really just, you know, like I had no idea, like, can I survive here? Can I make it? And I was basically like counting how much, you know, how much money I had until I would have to like God forbid go home because I didn't find a job or like didn't really make things work. So anyway, I'm really glad that that wasn't the case. And I'm also very glad that I just kind of like stayed strong and didn't, you know, just didn't apply for like random jobs. And like, you know, there are moments where that was tempting to do. Like I thought about like working at a bakery or just like doing random stuff, but I really just, you know, that's not what I was looking for. And as much as I, you know, had survival on my mind, I did, thank God, have enough of a leeway that I was able to just, you know, hold on tight and wait for that perfect situation to come. So for me, that was like so validating in terms of just, you know, really being able to not waste energy and not waste, you know, all your effort into just kind of chasing opportunities and things that aren't meant for you. And I really, really believe that, you know, Hashem has like a particular plan for your life, and you just need to be like just aware and perceptive and open to receiving those opportunities and receiving whatever path that is actually meant for you, as opposed to like hunting and searching and wasting, you know, wasting your precious energy on things that aren't meant for you. So that's really, you know, I kind of stuck to my guns there, and, you know, it made a lot of sense that this job came up, and it just really, you know, resonated with me and obviously worked out. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to share that update and kind of say hi again, and that I've missed you guys and being on this channel and just being, you know, a little more connected. And now that I'm here, you know, I'm going to give you guys my 100-day update. I've also been on this vegan lifestyle kind of dietary thing for almost 100 days as well. That's also corresponded with my 100 days since making Aliyah. So I'm gonna do a bit of a vegan update for you guys too, because that's been an interesting aspect of my spiritual journey. I really consider that part of my spiritual practice at this point, something I've been doing for more like energetic reasons rather than dietary or moral reasons and things like that. So I'd love to talk to you guys about that aspect as well. And I will eventually tell you guys more specifically about my new job and my new role and how I'm liking it. And I'll definitely do some fun vlogs for you guys, you know, just up in Tel Aviv and or down, I guess, right? I think I'm south. Of Jerusalem. But anyway, I will show you guys all that stuff and more. So stick around, and thanks for tuning in as always, and let me know what else you guys would like to see. I know I kind of started that Q&A series and then sort of dropped the ball on that because I just kind of got really distracted, and I was just not in a really like focused place to be sharing with you guys at that time. If you've stuck around with me on this channel, you've probably noticed that I kind of wax and wane in terms of how active I am. I'll kind of go through bursts and stuff. On one hand, I would like to make that more regular, but on the other hand, I really don't want to force out content. I'm not here to just like try to get numbers or have you guys watching meaningless things. I'm really just trying to share pieces of my life and experiences and points of view that I really feel compelled to share, which is why my content does happen to be a bit sporadic. But anyway, that being said, I do want to thank all of you for sticking with me through this journey, and I hope I'll be able to share more of it with you hopefully very soon. So I will see you guys later. Shalom Aleichem.